Hello, my name is Evie McLean, and I'm excited to have work included in the organic exhibit at Columbia Center for the Arts. I'm a painter, printmaker, and art teacher in Portland, Oregon. My work describes place through the unique forms and textures found in a particular landscape. While exploring a place, I capture photos using a macro lens, upload them on my computer, and examine closely to determine my subject. I especially enjoy discovering what is not seen with the naked eye by zooming in and then revealing these curiosities on a large canvas. My paintings are created using the traditional underpaint and glaze method of oil painting, as you see here. The two large thistle pieces in the show are monotypes, which are painted on plexiglass with oil-based printing inks. The painting is transferred onto heavy cotton paper with an etching press, and then refined in the studio with oil paint. You can check out more of my work on my website. I hope you enjoy the show.
Hi, I'm Joy Cartier, and I'm a maker from Portland, Oregon. I make in layers. I make in layers of paper, in time, and in meaning, and this multifaceted approach allows me to look at subjects that can be serious, that can be challenging, and see the joy in them, and see the irony, and see the humor. And this way of seeing the world has come from working with homeless youth for over 20 years with PAIR, which is a program for homeless youth, and with being a practitioner of the Fourth Way, which is a spiritual path. And both of these experiences are very relational, and so it's reflected in my work. And my work is very interactive. There is pun in my work. There is interplay in my work. And one thing that I really enjoy is seeing the extraordinary in what many people would see as ordinary. I'm going to be sharing altered books with you, and I want you to touch them. I want you to pick them up. I want you to interact with them. I am so looking forward to seeing you.
Hi, my name is Cable Griffith, and I am an artist living and working in Burien, Washington, talking to you from my studio here. Tell you just a little bit about my work. I'm primarily a painter, and I generally focus on the environment and landscape, particularly the intersection of landscape, environment, digital technology, virtual space, kind of creating a sort of hybrid between influences from my actual experience, hiking, camping, taking information and research from my own photographs, sketches, and combining that with a long history of exploring virtual worlds and video game worlds, and how natural spaces have been depicted and mediated through technology and popular culture. So all of those influences, including, of course, the history of landscape painting, all kind of come together and mash up. And I tend to really enjoy settling into that space and have create various bodies of work sometimes that address different issues in particular, but I'd say that's kind of one of the most common foundations for a lot of my work. And currently I'm working on a body of paintings that are kind of precarious little utopias, seemingly idyllic, kind of on the precipice, falling into maybe some sort of an abyss. All of my landscapes are without people. They're sort of seemingly vacant, but what kind of takes that place, you might, some think this sort of feels post-human landscapes, something like that, but that there's some sort of life force that emerges, or some part of this nature that evolves into something else. So I still feel like that this is landscape, but it's also figurative, and these characters and figures within the landscape start to kind of suggest or play out some kinds of narratives or events.
As an artist, I'm mainly a painter. I really like mixing up experimental processes with traditional techniques. landscape with abstraction. Through the years, I've imagined oceans, ice, earth, from patterns of crystals to the formation and destruction of whole ecosystems. Boneyard and the bloom paintings evoke the vitality and the dying of coral reefs. The fields of polka dots in bloom are inspired by explosions of fertility in coral spawning events. My current body of work, Swamp Garden, is related to places where I grew up in the South. These paintings interweave underwater landscapes with social and political history. The degraded images of Confederate monuments and emblems of white supremacy are sunk in swamps, blanketed in algae, and nibbled by catfish and turtles.
Hello, my name is Susan Merle, and I am an artist living in La Grande, Oregon. Welcome to my current studio, where I have some works in progress behind me. I'm here today to give you a brief introduction to my work. I primarily work in abstraction. I make mixed media paintings, but also prints, installations, and wall drawings using a lot of different materials. In essence, though, I really consider myself a contemporary landscape painter, and all of my work is somehow grounded in that tradition. I spend a lot of time also wondering what in the world contemporary landscape painting means, or what I want it to mean to me and how I want it to function in my practice. So in broad strokes, I'm interested in the shifting context and relationship between humans and the cosmos. So I often work with the aerial view. I like how macroscopic and microscopic images and shifting between the two can kind of cause a confusion of scale, and I like to play with that edge in my work. I'm intrigued with the visual language of maps and charts and all the things that have emerged to help us understand information beyond our senses. And ultimately, I think I'm processing a sense of loss regarding our climate crisis. So I believe that thought becomes form, and my art practice mirrors that jump between research on related topics that interest me and also intuitive action in my material process when I come back to the studio.
Hello, I'd like to introduce myself and talk briefly about my work. I'm Deva Bergman-Harris and very excited to be part of the Organic Show at the Columbia Center for the Arts. As an artist, I enjoy working in a number of mediums, though I am particularly drawn to working with fabric, as in my discharge dye body of work, which you see here behind me, and handmade felt, which I manipulate two-dimensionally in a number of ways. The pieces behind me are examples of the type of work I have in the show. Everywhere I look, I see abstractions of pattern, color, and texture. This view of the world, as well as my textile design background, is at the heart of what you see in my work. At times, my life's experience inspires me and motivates me to create on a more personal level as well. In photographing my work, I find no image seems to be able to capture the subtle nuances of fabric and fiber and their surface. So I believe this work, like most art, benefits from that up-close and personal experience. Hope you will be able to join us at the gallery and have a personal experience of your own.
Hello, my name is Jay Gaskill. I'm an abstract painter based in Portland, Oregon. And to give you all a preview of what it's like in my studio, I thought I'd talk to you about what I like to listen to and hear when I make paintings. I know some folks like podcasts or, Audible books on tape, that sort of thing. For me, it's always been and has to be music. A few years ago, I switched it up and started listening to house and techno exclusively in the studio to help me make paintings. Why, you may ask? Well, that's because of the BPM. House and techno has a consistent beats per minute depending on the genre of house music that you're listening to. And once I find the right genre and the right level of BPM for my mood that day, the vibe in the studio, I can just stay in here and paint all day.